of that scanner and how you use it and the file format in which it's saved. So you can work on it if you save it in the native format, which is called, if it was Photoshop, it would be Photoshop format. Or if you saved it as a TIFF or as a bitmap, and I say bitmap BMP because a lot of consumer and PCs software will offer that option of bitmap. And then there's JPEG. And the JPEG is not an archival quality format. Well, first of all, when it saves the file, it compresses it. It makes sure it's small. And it averages out colors. Because the more different colors and variation and gradation of color in an image, the bigger the file is. Plus, its resolution. So, if you save as a JPEG, you work on it, you save it, resave it, close it, open it again, work on it, resave it, close it. Every time you do that, it compresses it again and again and again. And what ends up happening is you end up with a degraded image. It becomes blocky. It becomes gummy. And if you notice when people send you pictures on the internet, you'll see little blocks sometimes in the sky and in the face, and it's like, can I sharpen that? And when you sharpen it, it makes it worse. That's JPEG compression artifacts. But if you save as a TIFF from the beginning, you want to give someone a JPEG, that's fine. You save it as a copy. Give them the JPEG. You get rid of that JPEG so you don't have duplicates. Keep the TIFF. That's why it's not an archival quality. So if you digitize things as JPEG, well, it's not archival quality then. Right now, your camera, if you already have a bunch of JPEGs anyways, then don't get upset. Just remember, if you have to work on them, resave them as a TIFF. If you don't have to work on them, then just leave them. It's as good as you're going to get without having to rescan all those pictures. And if you got all those digital images from your camera, like some camera, I got a digital camera that saves as JPEG. But in the camera, I tell it, save as the highest quality JPEG with no sharpening, no filters. All right? So the lesson here that you should take from today is good preservation means less restoration. That means less work. So you should also keep in mind there are professionals who can help you with it to learn how to do it yourself, such as myself. Here's my course. And you can also hire people to do it, such as myself. But the whole point is there's always a way for you to do this and do it right. And I'm at your service. Join my email list so you can stay up to date with this information. Take my flyer here. If you ever have any questions, I want you to call me. You know, I even have students who buy the course, or students I taught over the years, and they say, you know, I was up till 4 in the morning working on this thing, and I just didn't know what to do. I said, why didn't you call me? Well, you know, it was too late. I said, well, you should have left a message. And I could have, the solution I had would take them 3 seconds, you know. So I do this for a living. It's not like I sell real estate or I'm a cop or something full time. I do this for a living. So you should utilize me. And let's go to a couple things. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. It might be.
Let me just finish this up. Sure. Save your question. Yeah. Please don't forget it.
I might.
Don't forget.
Preserve it.
Preserve that question in the archives. And I'm sorry I'm zooming through this because of time. You know, and I really am sorry to cheat you like that. There's some written materials you should look out for. There's the Ask the Retoucher live that I do every week. Join the email list. Go to my website. Go to the blog. I do a live streaming video show for 30 minutes every week in a classroom session. You know, pretty much switching between me and the screen and whatnot. And you can send me your questions and I'll answer them there. You can chat live. Then there's books and videos that I sell. And then there's other great books like Maureen Taylor. She's a great genealogist that does some great books dealing with photos and dating them. And there's the Teach Yourself Visually series of books. And if you have Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, in addition to my course, I highly recommend that you get the Teach Yourself Visually book for the version of Photoshop or Photoshop Elements you're using. That book is the missing manual in a sense. It's not even a manual. It's just so great because it's big pictures, very few words, simple explanations, and you'll feel really good working with Photoshop after going through that book. And there's some other books. If you missed this, you can always email me, and I'll be more than happy to send you the list. Finally, there is, almost finally, there are some great catalogs you can get from these websites. And these are archival products. They have archival CDs, archival envelopes, archival boxes, everything you need to store your documents and your photos. And some more internet sources, of course, my website, and there's the National Archives. And I know we had an election that threw out people because they hate the government, but this is a really good government website. And there's the American Institute for Conservation, and they can help you if you want to deal with how to handle your damaged, if you had flood damaged pictures, how to find a conservator, someone who will actually restore the original. I don't restore originals, I restore copies. So we have I think there's a couple customers, but I know Ms. Sieberling is a customer of mine, and Ms. Mitchell, yep, customer of mine, yep. And they know that I scanned their originals, and I gave the originals back to them, and they didn't look any worse or any better, but I gave them a photograph copy restoration that looked just as good, or if not better, than the original. There's these other sites are great resources. Real simple, not complicated. You can get complicated if you want, and I can give you tough stuff. I got some advanced tutorials, but I'm not going to hit you with that. So let's deal with the questions in the back.
Yeah, I have everything Obama from his Senate race all the way up to my grandkids in the White House. So
nice.
So what I need to know, I got 2 boxes. What should I do? I mean, you're not having boxes.
I have a box of President Obama stuff. You know, when the election, I just say, I'm keeping this.
So since I have these boxes, what do I do with all of that stuff? Is there a large box that is archival?
Yeah, those catalogs, I'll jump back.
Okay.
Either one, they all pretty much sell the same stuff. All right. Either one of these companies will have what's called archival boxes. And here at Shorefront, at which I'm also a director, and we really appreciate you coming here, we actually store collections in these boxes. And in the back, if you ask me, or if you ask Dino, the young man there with the dreads, we'll give you a catalog. Actually, we have a whole bunch of them. This is a different company. There's a lot of them out there. And you get some great boxes to store these documents in.
Thank you.
Next question. I know y'all got some questions.
Is it okay to acid-free? If you go and it says acid-free, is that?
Acid-free is great. Yeah, that's usually with paper. Paper materials that are acid-free. And I think lignin-free is the same when they say that, but I could be wrong. But really, if it's acid-free paper, it's going to be a lot more